Welcome to the Open Mic Podcast. I'm your host, Noah Jones. Today I'm joined by my favorite band in Richland County, The Trio. How are you all doing today?
Good.
Pretty good.
Awesome. There are a lot of voices in this room. Can we just go around the room and identify yourselves for the listeners?
I go by Kid Culture, otherwise known as Al Jenkins, otherwise the main man. I rap.
So I'm Aaron. I play drums and handle the programming.
My name's Andrew. I play Iwi and alto sax.
Yo, I'm Aiden. I play trumpet.
Aiden, you're the newest face that I've seen in the trio.
Yes.
How is it going for you so far? Are you as in love with it as I am every time you get on the stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And talk to me about the Iwi. I know this sort of stuff because I've asked about it, but I mean, you never see an electric clarinet.
So Iwi is an acronym for electric wind instrument.
Okay.
It is just like a MIDI controller / synth player. We use it to just utilize what we got to do, our needs, I guess. Bass lines, lead lines, things like that.
Now, one of the things that I think is forever awesome about you guys is that there's not that many live bands that play live music with a rapper. Is that like as cool to you guys to get to be that rare sort of item for listeners?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, if you watch like any touring acts or any touring rappers, they're typically going to play with a live band. But like say they were doing like a television appearance or just something smaller or low-key, like a club performance, they'll probably just have a DJ.
Sure.
So, I mean, for us, we literally always play with a band. So I guess that kind of helps us stand out a bit because there's a lot more freedom in what you're able to do live. You can make it sound completely different than the album.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also really cool. You guys are all family, and unfortunately your sister's not here to sort of fill in the entire group. But talk to me about the development of the trio, besides the fact that you've added I'm assuming all of the family members at this point, but talk to me about maybe the progression that you guys have gotten in terms of complexity of music for this new album, which you're going to release on November 26th, which is called The Trio 2, compared to your first album, I think, called Al Jenkins and the Trio. Pretty
much the trio just started kind of just somebody at our church asked us to play for one of their stores. They were doing like a shop hop event downtown. It's called Carousel Antiques. But we just wrote like 10, 12 songs just for that performance. We weren't even a band yet. But after doing that, we were like, this actually went pretty well. So we just kept writing. And then Alan, he had started rapping around that time. So we were like, well, why don't we do some sort of a joint project to kind of get him a fan base, continue with our fan base, and build that up. So that's kind of how that first album came about. But from a musical standpoint, we were just experimenting then. Like, we really hadn't found a sound yet. We were just...
It hadn't been crafted fully.
Well, how do you guys feel now that you've sort of developed this sound and it's worked? It's awesome, and everything you guys play, like when you guys write a song, do you just throw them away unless they make you move? Because I feel like every song you guys write is an absolute bop.
I appreciate that, but like, I don't know. I guess it's really fulfilling at this point, because that process, like that album came out 4 years?
Al Jenkins and the Trio.
Yeah, it was what? I think 2015 is when that came out.
2015, and then my project came out last year, but that process was like 3 years total itself. But like at this point, I feel like we've finally got to a point we all feel comfortable. We like this sound right here that we accomplished on this project together. So yeah, it's just fulfilling, I think.
Yeah, and you guys have created a music video, which you guys are going to come out with this Friday, which is what, the 14th?
The 8th.
Oh, sorry, I'm living my life ahead of time. Okay, so November 8th, there's going to be a new video out that you guys will be able to see, I'm assuming, on your Facebook page and Instagram, maybe.
It'll be on YouTube as well.
YouTube as well. Okay, great. And so talk to me a little bit about the song that you guys are doing, Hit the Ground Running. It's a song that I've got to watch you guys perform live over and over again. because I'm like probably your biggest fan that's not your mom or dad. So talk to me a little bit about the development of the song, because it's different on the album than it is live. Maybe just because you're in a studio and have that ability, but it's I mean, just walk me through the creation of that tune.
That song pretty much started out as a jam.
I would say.
Alan was on keys, I was playing drums, and Andrew was playing Iwi.
Aiden was playing trumpet, I believe. Yeah.
Alan just had this chord progression. He just played it over and over. So we recorded that, just kind of looped it up. Then had Andrew put a bass line over it. And I just kept hearing this vocal melody over top of it. I didn't have lyrics yet, but we just kind of ran with that melody. And then Alan came up with the hook for it. And pretty much from there, we wrote it in like a couple days' time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. And so you guys just like jam at your house? Do you all live in the same house still, or are you guys?
No, I don't. But
oh yeah, you're a married man, aren't you? Yeah. We haven't spoken for a little bit, but congratulations on the marriage.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Talk to me about how you guys practice together.
But we do practice at our parents.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I'm sure that they love
studio
that.
Set up there.
Gotcha. Cool. And so we'll listen to the song in just a minute. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? The beginning of the song, the meaning of the song, anything like that?
I mean, meaning-wise, it kind of really encompasses what the album itself is. Hit the ground running, like that term in general, just that's the plan with, I mean, I hate to sound like quote the hook exactly, but like just kind of push ourselves forward from this point on, I guess is the best way to explain it.
Sure, gotcha. All right, cool. Well, this is Hit the Ground Running, and we will be right back with the trio.
Here we are, stuck inside. Oh my God, it's a dream, it's a lie. Here we go, shining bright like we're golden in the vault, but no one knows where we're at or what we're doing is confusing. Probably cause they never searching, never using their minds, cause their minds are always getting caught. They got them locked, step out the box now. Now this is not a game and I ain't playing when I say this to you. It's right here that new fresh to death as I relay it to you. But it in your spirit, in your body, is it beaming? Launching secrets, not a problem. Used to everybody screaming. Whole team hit the ground. Got it to dance, then we hit the ground. Girl, it's your chance, we gon' hit the ground. And you know the plan is to hit the ground. Whole team hit the ground running. Got it to dance, then we hit the ground running. Girl, it's your chance, we gon' hit the ground running. And you know the plan is to hit the ground running. Whole team hit the ground running. Got it to dance, then we hit the ground running. Girl, it's your chance, we gon' hit the ground running. And you know the plan is to hit the ground running. Look, that beat snap, the beat stomp and clap. That's no joke or knee slap funny. We stuntin', say the whole team got the crowd jumping for the home team, hitting home running. No button, that's out of the park. Bass the bass back home where we start cooking. Say your grace, shouting thank you, Father God, holla, hallelujah to you, Jesus. Thank you for them blessings, lessons, teachers. Why? You know that it feel like I'm dreaming. Perception of what we achieving. It may even seem like I'm feeling it, but it's take it or leave it. To be honest, I'm honestly speaking. Cause the people doing none on the weekend. You better wake up and don't try not to sleep in. Cause we hit the ground and it's straight tweaking. You can do you. Ain't nobody in the way, do your thing like move, get loose too. Everybody in the place, I mean you say this about to be the day-to-day thing. Run with the team so they know the name. Take on the world, we're spitting out plays. Press record, the dark record, you won't name. Ground running. running. You know the plan is to hit the ground running. Whole team hit the ground running. Got up to dance and we hit the ground running. Brothers should dance, we gon' hit the ground running. You know the plan is to hit the ground running. Whole team hit the ground running. Got up to dance and we hit the ground running. Brothers should dance, we gon' hit the ground running. You know the plan is to hit the ground running. Whole team hit the ground running. Got up to dance and we hit the ground running. Brothers should dance, we gon' hit the ground running. You know the plan is to hit the ground running.
All right, so that was Hit the Ground Running with the trio, and I'm really excited to still get to talk to them a little bit more about the song. So when you guys create that song, how long did it take for you guys to realize that like this was a song that you guys wanted to put on your album?
Let's see. That song's probably like 2-ish years old.
Okay.
But we definitely were kind of like, this is just kind of started a wave as far as a new sound for us. I'd say that even influenced some of the songs toward the end of Black Suburbia. There's like a couple tracks toward the end of that album that started sounding more like that. So yeah, I'd say that definitely just kind of
Kicked off.
sparked that sound.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about that spark though, because so you've been playing this music, and then all of a sudden you guys jam, and there's something that just sort of like sparks in your head, right? And you're like, this is what we want to sound more like. So what's that creation period like? Is it just more entertaining for you all as musicians to get to sort of create sort of a new building block, if you will, or are you guys just excited to see what your crowd's reaction is going to be?
I think it was just better encompassing of all the different influences that we all have. Because, I mean, we have similar tastes, but we all listen to some different stuff. And I feel like this really just pulls that all together a little bit better. Before, everything was kind of just straight hip-hop. There really wasn't a lot of electronic influence. There was some jazz influence, but definitely not as much, I wouldn't say. Yeah, I just feel like this is better.
And on top of that, adding like Aiden joining us now and practicing with us like that just also sparks new ideas. Like, 'cause all of a sudden we have a horn playing. Like, I'm like, oh shoot, well we need to add horns into whatever. And I took like in between the time that we wrote that first album together, I took like theory classes at when I was going to Madison still, and so like I wouldn't have been playing keys or anything, like trying to fudge around on that back then. But then now that we have done whatever, we have an opportunity to experiment with new things.
Right on. And you guys, are, well, I guess I should ask, are you going to start playing keys live then?
No.
Oh,
I'm
well, that's
awful.
disappointing.
Like I said, fudging. Like
No worries. Cool. Well, so let's talk a little bit more about the new album, 2, correct?
Yep.
The Trio 2 is the name of the album. And talk to me a little bit about the sort of sound as a whole. I know we've sort of been revolving around that one concept, but so it's all going to be dance numbers, if you will, like Hit the Ground Running, or is there going to be some sort of like mood changes throughout the album? And what were you trying to sort of tell the story of with this album?
I mean, it's definitely not like a concept type album.
Sure.
But each song kind of has its own purpose or meaning behind it. Really, it's pretty much just dedicated to the field for the most part. Just kind of everybody that's out there really trying to better themselves, trying to put their own stuff out, just do stuff independently. It's pretty much kind of dealing with that. That's the overall message of the album. But sound-wise, it's got some electronic stuff, trap stuff, jazz. There's a pretty good mixture of everything.
So I want to just say this because I have a little bit of insider information that I know that the band doesn't really like your first album that you all put out for different reasons. And what happened on that album compared to this one? Like what makes you feel proud of this one that you didn't necessarily feel in your first one?
The writing process for this one just went a lot faster. This whole album was recorded within a year's time. And I mean, as you know, Black Suburbia, that took like 3 years to
Right.
flesh out. So there's just a cohesiveness based on the fact that it was a shorter amount of time in which we recorded. But that first project, I just feel like it was a lot of the writing was kind of immature, if you will, not really fleshed out. I think that's what we disliked most about that project, is that we really hadn't found that sound that we were looking for yet. It was more just a means to get some music out and kind of get our foot in the door.
Gotcha. Well, if it means anything to you, I did not get that impression of the album. Cool. What else is there that you guys wanted to talk about? Anything new coming down the pipeline besides the new album?
We plan on a release show shortly after the album comes out, so there'll be more information on that.
Cool. How can people find that information?
We'll definitely have that on Instagram, Facebook, all our social media.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for stopping in, and I look forward to hearing the whole album on November 26th.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Open Mic Podcast.